Good day, this is Mr. K's and this is 22.3C. 22.3C. Last time we looked, we saw the Enlightenment as it pertained to the arts, including music and literature. Music and literature. Today we're going to look at Enlightenment and the monarchy. Could the two coexist? Well, we shall see. The term you see right here is Enlightened Despot. Doesn't seem to be two words that fit together. That seems like a misnomer, like Christian bank robber or delightful axe murderer. They just don't seem to go together. Enlightened means they're knowledgeable. Despot means a ruler. In this case, these people are absolute rulers, but they're at least listening and reading the writings of the Enlightenment philosophers, which could be a good thing. Show you some examples. The first guy, Frederick the Great. Frederick the Great, if you remember, is from ancient Germany, the Kingdom of Prussia in Brandenburg, and he granted many religious freedoms, reduced censorship, so people could say what they wanted to, and improved education. That was courtesy of Frederick. His most important contribution was his attitude towards being king. His attitude towards being king. He believed he was a servant of the state, that his citizens were his children, and he was a father, and he should act in a fatherly way. Well, that can't be bad. Another gentleman next door to Prussia is Joseph II of Austria. Now, he is Maria Theresa's son, and when he took the throne, he's the most radical reformer. The most radical reformer. In 1780 all the way to 1790, he introduced legal reforms, and freedom of the press. Freedom of the press. He also supported freedom of worship, even for Protestants, Orthodox Christians, and Jews. So he was a champion of religious toleration. In his most radical reform, Joseph abolished serfdom and ordered that peasants be paid in cash. He got rid of serfdom in feudalism, and he said now peasants will not work for nothing, but they'll be paid cash. Obviously the nobles hated it, but when he dies, most of his laws were reversed after his death, because obviously there's more nobles than there are emperors. And then our third example is Catherine the Great. Catherine the Great, also known as Catherine II. Now, she was a German princess who got married to Peter III. But she's going to take the throne and rule by herself when it's found out that Peter III, he's not playing with a full deck. He is certifiably crazy. Now, the ruler was most admired by the philosophers of France. This ruler, Catherine, was admired the most by the philosophers. She ruled with absolute authority, but also took steps to modernize and reform Russia. She ruled with absolute authority, but she also took steps to modernize and reform Russia. Among other changes, she recommended allowing religious toleration, just like Joseph did, and abolishing torture and capital punishment. What's capital punishment? Again, that is execution. And then Catherine eventually put in place limited reforms, but did little to improve the peasants' lives. In fact, when she sees that the nobles are cheesed off, and because the peasants were getting too much freedom, she knew that she needed to change some policies here. And so not too much changed in the peasants' lives, because she owed her throne to the nobles, obviously. Okay. Catherine expands Russia. Catherine, like Peter the Great, is going to seek access to the Black Sea. She's going to seek access to the Black Sea. She's looking for a warm water port. Remember, their only port, Archangel, was choked with ice, and St. Petersburg was on the Baltic, but they wanted more warm water ports. So, in 2 wars, with the Ottoman Turks. Her armies finally won control of the north shore of the Black Sea, and they built a port there at Odessa. Her armies finally won control of the north shore of the Black Sea, and they were able to get their ships out into the Atlantic through the Aegean Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. They won the right to go down past Istanbul using the Bosporus River. They had rights to do that, so they could get out to the Western world. Catherine also expanded her empire westward into Poland. We're going to see poor Poland is going to be carved up like a Christmas turkey. In 1772, land-hungry neighbors, Russia, Austria, and Prussia, each took a piece of Poland. We call this the first partition of Poland. In further partitions in 1793 and 1795, they grabbed up the rest of Poland's territory. And you're not going to see Poland exist as an independent country until after World War I. That's going to be, a good 150 years or so. With these partitions, Poland disappeared from Europe. It did not come back until after World War I. Well, that's it for 22.3C. 22.3C. This is Mr. K's signing off. I'm out.